The key to passing your insurance exam on the first try. Question 1. Which of the following is the best strategy for answering multiple choice exam questions? Always choose C. Read the options before the question. Eliminate definitively wrong answers first. Rush through the first half. Process of elimination increases your odds of selecting the correct answer. Question 2. What does the term indemnify mean in insurance? To penalize the insured. To make whole or restore to the original financial state. To provide a profit to the insured. To cancel a policy. Indemnification means restoring the insured to the financial position they were in prior to the loss. Question 3. Why is it important to understand key vocabulary for the insurance exam? It makes the test longer. Most questions test concept application based on definitions. It is required by state law. It replaces the need to study regulations. Insurance exams heavily test terminology and how these terms apply to real-world scenarios. Question 4. If a question uses words like always, never, or must, what is generally true? It is typically the correct answer. It is likely an incorrect distractor. It indicates a state-specific law. It indicates an optional provision. Absolutes are often used in incorrect options, as insurance rules usually have exceptions. Question 5. When reviewing practice exams, what is the most critical step? Memorizing the exact questions. Understanding the explanation for why an answer is correct or incorrect. Counting the number of correct answers. Finishing the exam as fast as possible. Understanding the rationale prepares you for reworded or similar concepts on the actual exam. Question 6. What is a moral hazard in insurance? A physical condition that increases risk. A legal requirement to buy insurance. A conscious choice or character flaw that increases risk, like fraud, carelessness, or indifference to risk. Moral hazards involve deceit or bad character, such as submitting false claims. Question 7. What is the defining characteristic of an aleatory contract? Equal value is exchanged. It is drafted by one party. There is an unequal exchange of values. It requires two signatures. Aleatory means the values exchanged are unequal, example, small premium for a large death benefit. Question 8. What should a test taker do if they encounter a completely unfamiliar question? Skip it permanently. Leave it blank. Mark it for review, make an educated guess, and move on. Spend 10 minutes trying to solve it. Guessing and moving on ensures you don't run out of time for questions you do know. Question 9. Which legal principle prevents an insurer from denying a claim if they previously waived their right to do so? Estoppel, adhesion, subrogation, indemnity. Estoppel is the legal consequence of a waiver. It prevents a party from enforcing a right they previously waived. Question 10. What does a contract of adhesion mean for the insured? They can negotiate the terms. They must accept the contract as written by the insurer, take it or leave it. They are guaranteed a payout. They draft the contract. Insurance contracts are drawn up by the insurer, and any ambiguities are resolved in favor of the insured. Question 11. Which entity is responsible for making sure insurance laws are followed in a specific state? The federal government, the NAIC, the State Department of Insurance/Commissioner, the insurance agencies. State insurance commissioners or departments regulate and enforce state insurance laws. Question 12. What is the purpose of the Medical Information Bureau, MIB? To sell life insurance, to provide medical treatment to the uninsured, to help underwriters evaluate risk by sharing medical information, to set insurance rates. The MIB is a non-profit trade association that maintains medical information on applicants for life and health insurance. Question 13. In test preparation, what is the rule of 3-4 reading questions? Read the question 3 times to ensure you don't miss key words like not or except. Read 3 options only. Take 3 breaks. Spend 3 minutes per question. Careful reading prevents careless mistakes caused by missing negative modifiers. Question 14. What is a fiduciary responsibility? Selling as many policies as possible. Handling client funds with trust and financial responsibility. Underwriting and application. Marketing insurance products. A fiduciary is a person in a position of financial trust, such as an agent handling premiums. Question 15. Which term describes the transfer of the insured's right to seek damages from a negligent third party to the insurer? Subrogation, co-insurance, waiver, assignment. Subrogation allows the insurer to step into the insured's shoes to recover the amount paid for a loss caused by a third party. Question 16. Why are state-specific regulations heavily tested? They are the easiest to memorize. Agents must be licensed and compliant in the state they operate. Federal laws do not exist. The NAIC requires it. State laws dictate licensing, commissions, and unfair trade practices, which are critical for agent compliance. Question 17. What constitutes an unfair trade practice? Offering multiple quotes, rebating or returning part of the commission to the buyer as an inducement, explaining policy exclusions, using standard underwriting guidelines. Rebating is an illegal inducement to purchase insurance in most states. Question 18. What is the difference between a peril and a hazard? A peril is the cause of loss, a hazard increases the chance of loss. A peril increases the chance of loss, a hazard is the cause of loss. They are identical terms. A hazard is insurable, a peril is not. Fire is a peril, storing gasoline next to a furnace is a hazard. Question 19. What is the best way to handle all of the following except questions? Look for the first true statement. Treat each option as a true/false statement and find the one that is false. Guess randomly. Only read the first 2 options. Treating them as true/false helps isolate the single incorrect statement that answers the except question. Question 20. If you are unsure of an answer, why is your first instinct usually correct? Because exams are predictable. Subconscious recall of studied material is often accurate. Because the first option is usually right. Because instincts are always flawless. Changing answers often leads to changing a right answer to a wrong one, unless you find new evidence.